You know that feeling when you want to take your health seriously, but your life just doesn't feel like it's set up for it right now? Like maybe someday when things slow down or you have more energy or you feel like you're stretched less thin, but not right now. That thought has kept more women stuck than anything else, including myself. There was always something that was going to be easier to do it tomorrow. But this morning, God showed me something that completely reframed it for me. And here's the thing. I've been really hesitant to share my own weight loss journey, even though I feel like that's what I'm being called to. And it's not because I don't believe in it. It's not because I don't think I can help other women by sharing it, but it's because my life looks different now than a lot of women that I normally would come in contact with. I work online, my kids are mostly grown and living their own lives, and I have a lot of flexibility. I have more time to be able to dedicate to working out and moving my body, and I pretty much can cook all of my meals if I want to. I do tend to still choose quick and easy and simple because I don't like being in the kitchen. That is not something that excites me. So I have that ability. I don't always I don't always spend a lot of time in there, but I could if I wanted to. And like I said, I work out regularly because I genuinely enjoy it. So I do spend a lot of time doing that as well. But I don't ever want it to sound like I'm telling anybody else to just do what I do because I'm very aware that my life is different than a lot of other people right now. And I never want it to feel like I'm bragging or like I'm rubbing it in to women that they're tired or they just feel like they're stretched thin or they just don't feel like they have any more to give. And they're genuinely doing the best that they can. Because honestly, I've been there. I'm a mom of five. I'm a widow. I have a business with my current husband. And just recently, in the last couple of years, I'm now a Nana. So I know what it feels like to feel like there's nothing left to give or there's nothing left for you to spend on yourself. But before I go any further, I just want to say thank you for being here. If you're new here, my name is Nicole, and I'm walking out a journey towards 100 pounds of weight loss. And it's definitely not perfect or exciting, but I just want to share what God's teaching me as I live it and walk it out. And I hope that it helps you too. So this morning while I was working out, I was kind of wrestling with something because I just kept thinking, how do I share my life in a way that actually helps other women when, like I said, my life just looks so different right now. And yeah, there are some women that are in the same place I am, but there's also a lot of women that aren't. And how can I be of service to as many women as possible when from the outside my life probably looks really conducive to a weight loss journey? But then it hit me and it was like one of those light bulb moments. And I really believe that the Lord just kind of dropped this into my heart. It's the same principle that we see in the story of the loaves and the fishes. Jesus didn't wait for abundance. He just multiplied their obedience. He took what was offered, and even though it didn't look like enough, he did something big with it. And suddenly it just kind of was all clear to me. It was just like, oh, that's kind of the same thing. I am definitely not a theologian, and a lot of times I have a hard time pulling principles out of the Bible from a situation and seeing how that applies to my life. But today it was just like it hit me between the eyes because it applies to our health in the exact same way. God isn't asking you to live my life. He's asking you to steward the life that you have, and that's it. Not someone else's schedule, not someone else's budget, and not in someone else's season. Yours. And I think a lot of us have been waiting for more when God is asking us to honor the little that we already have, especially when it comes to our bodies. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." And I couldn't help but wonder, what if being faithful with what you do have right now is actually preparing you for more? More energy, more clarity, more capacity. Maybe it's finally having the energy to play with your kids the way that you want to. Or maybe it's the clarity to step into something that you know God's been nudging you towards, but you just don't feel well enough to actually step into it, or you don't have the confidence to be able to step into it, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's the stamina to build something new without feeling like you're burning yourself out. God is not going to give us things that will crush us. So if you're currently in a season that you're not taking care of your body and your health is not in a good place, God loves us too much to give us more when we're just going to buckle under the weight. So maybe by getting your health back through the little things, maybe that's part of what he's actually preparing you for next. You might not have the money for a gym membership, but you can probably go for a walk. You might not have time for an hour-long workout, but you can probably move for 10 or 15 minutes. There's so many different scenarios that we can plug these into during your day. I mean, maybe it's during your lunch break, maybe it's when the baby's napping. Um, maybe it's just parking further away from the store. All of these little things add up. And a lot of people blow them off as things that don't matter. But I truly believe that if we're being faithful and having our heart in the right spot, and we know that we need to steward this body well, I feel like the Lord honors those little steps of obedience. So you might not have the money or the mental energy to overhaul your entire diet, but maybe you can take out one thing that you know your body doesn't like and add in one thing that it does. Take out one thing that's less nutritious and put in something that is a little more nutritious. A lot of times it's easier to add things in before you start taking things out. You might not have time for a workout, but maybe you can do squats while dinner cooks, or you could do stretching while your coffee's brewing in the morning. Just find ways to move your body inside your real life because it all counts. And here's what I believe with my whole heart. When you're intentional with the little things, when you steward the body well with what you have right now, in the season you're in right now, in the situations you're in right now, God can take those small choices and multiply them into something bigger. Because it's not really about the walk or the squats or the food swap. It's about your heart, and it's about being obedient. It's about saying I'm not done, or I'm done letting all the excuses call the shots. Having excuses over time or over money or because you're tired. In the moment, those excuses feel so real. And sometimes that is actually what's happening in our life, but they don't have to have the final word. So let me ask you this. What is one small thing that you know you could do, but you've been telling yourself that it doesn't matter? It's not big enough. It's not on a grand enough scale. It won't move the needle. What is that one thing? If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love for you to tell me about it down in the comments, even if it feels silly, and especially if it feels too small. For a long time, I have struggled to take these biblical principles, like I had mentioned earlier, and apply them to my life. But this one, it just really hit me this morning because these small, faithful choices, they've just kind of given me clarity today like never before. Clarity in my body, clarity in my mind, clarity in my decisions. I just don't believe that that's an accident. And another place that I've seen this play out in my own life is in tithing, which seems like it's totally unrelated. But I've watched the Lord over and over in my life take my small little tithe that I couldn't afford to give. And for some reason, it just seemed like our money stretched further that week or that month or whatever it was. Or something unexpected would come in that we didn't know was coming in and everything would be covered. Or it wasn't even money. Sometimes we would get resources that we needed that nobody knew about. But because we were faithful in the little things, he rewarded us for that. And I feel like it's kind of all the same thing. So it's that principle that comes out of that Loaves and Fishes story that applies to so many different areas in our lives that I haven't really put two and two together until today, until I just feel like the Lord gave this to me today. So I want you to hear me when I say this. You don't need my life to get your health back. You don't need more time. You don't need more money. You don't need the perfect plan. I'm sharing what works for me in my life, but you definitely can find ways to apply this to your life so that it fits into your circumstances as well. You really just need to stop discounting all the small things that you can actually do. Stop feeling like they're too small or like they won't matter or they won't make a difference because it's not true. When you put all those little things together, it can make a huge difference. So when you make a good decision, instead of putting something off until tomorrow, you don't have the time, you don't have the right food to eat, you don't have whatever that is. Instead of making the excuse that I can't do this right now, I'm just going to start tomorrow, you know that tomorrow's never going to come. So just make the good decision in the moment. Or if you mess up, because you will, make the next best decision the next time you have to make a decision. When you add one better choice instead of changing everything at once, that will also move the needle forward. You can also figure out how to move your body within your real life. And I feel like this is stewardship, and God will honor your stewardship. So I want to leave you with this. What is the little that God has already put in your hands that you've been overlooking? What is that one little thing that you can do, or the couple little things that you can add that's just going to start moving the needle forward? Not what you wish you had, but what you actually have. And if you feel comfortable, share it below. You never know who's going to see that and who it's going to help, and maybe help them feel less alone or give them um, encouragement to start walking this out in their own lives as well. Um, if you're realizing that you have too much information or you have information overload or any of that, and you're just kind of getting stuck in the spiral of always searching out bigger things or more things, or you're not even sure where to start at this point and you need support or you want accountability, um, you probably just need a place where these tiny little faithful steps are celebrated. And that's exactly what we'll be walking through together inside of my community. We do not require perfection. In fact, we don't want it in there, as if perfection is even a real thing. We all know that the only perfect one is Jesus, and we do not have that within my group. You don't need to have a specific amount of weight that you want to lose either. I am on a 100-pound weight loss journey, but obviously that's going to look different for everybody. And maybe you don't want to lose any weight. Maybe you just want to be a little bit healthier or try to get a little bit more energy back or whatever that looks like for you. You are welcome here. This is just what real women stewarding what they have and letting God do the rest, because nothing changes until something actually changes. And maybe today that something that is going to change is smaller than you thought. If this episode hit you, I'd love it if you liked, shared, and subscribed. It helps get these conversations out to more women who might need them too. I'll see you again soon.